Imagine Rome's greatest general surrounded, cornered, on the brink of a defeat so humiliating it could have ended his career forever. Julius Caesar, the conqueror of Gaul, was on the verge of disaster. And just when all hope seemed lost, when his downfall seemed inevitable, a final battle cry echoed across the battlefield. The 10th Legion was coming. The Battle of Alesia wasn't just a victory for Rome. It was the moment that shaped the destiny of an empire. Caesar was trapped between two forces. Inside the walls, Vercingetorix and his starving warriors waited for the right moment to strike. Outside, a massive relief army was closing in, ready to crush him. Any other commander would have faced certain annihilation. But Caesar was no ordinary leader, and his salvation came from Rome's most feared legion. What happened on that battlefield? How did the 10th Legion turn the tide when all seemed lost? And how did a single moment of courage define the future of Rome? In today's video, you'll uncover the secrets behind this legendary battle, explore Caesar's desperate tactics, and witness how an elite force defied the odds to secure victory. But the truth about that day may be even more astonishing than history tells us. If you love epic battles, unexpected twists, and the military genius of Rome, make sure to subscribe and leave a like. That way, you help bring these incredible stories to more people. Now, get ready, because the Battle of Alesia is about to begin. Caesar's siege of Alesia is often seen as a masterstroke of Roman strategy, a testament to his brilliance as a commander. But what if the reality was far more precarious than history tends to admit? Rome's greatest general wasn't just facing an enemy trapped within the city. He was slowly being encircled himself. Inside, Vercingetorix and his warriors held on, waiting for a chance to break free. Outside, a massive relief army gathered strength, preparing to crush the Romans from behind. Caesar was running out of supplies, his men were exhausted, and for the first time in his career, he stood on the edge of total defeat. Then came the final blow. The Gaulish reinforcements attacked, hammering the outer Roman defenses. The lines began to buckle, panic spread, and for a moment, it looked like Caesar's fate was sealed. The genius strategist who had conquered Gaul was now staring into the abyss of his own destruction. But before the trap could snap shut, something changed. Something that even the Gauls hadn't anticipated. What was it that tipped the scales at the very last second? Caesar was known for his tactical foresight, but how did he allow himself to be caught in such a desperate situation? The Roman legions were the best-trained army in the world, yet they were being overwhelmed. The Gauls, despite their reputation for disorganization, had turned the tables, surrounding the very man who had spent years defeating them. It seemed impossible, until you look at the one element of the battlefield that didn't fit the pattern. The 10th Legion. Unlike the rest of Caesar's forces, they weren't positioned in the thick of the fight. They were held in reserve, stationed where they wouldn't be the first to meet the enemy. It was an unusual decision, one that made little sense in the chaos of battle. But Caesar had a reason. He was waiting. The outer Roman lines were collapsing. The situation was spiraling out of control. Yet the 10th Legion remained motionless. It wasn't hesitation. It was something else entirely. But what was Caesar waiting for? And why was this single decision about to change the course of history? The moment had arrived. As the outer defenses crumbled and the Gauls surged forward, Caesar finally gave the order. The 10th Legion, rested, disciplined, and as fierce as ever, moved into action. But instead of reinforcing the failing lines, they did something far riskier. They launched an attack of their own. Not against the forces inside Alesia. Not even against the main bulk of the relief army. They struck at the enemy's rear. It was a move that defied logic. The 10th Legion was outnumbered, and by all reasonable calculations, they should have been cut down in minutes. But that's not what happened. Their charge was so sudden, so precise, that the Gauls hesitated. And in war, hesitation is deadly. The relief forces, moments away from victory, faltered. The confusion spread like wildfire. The balance of power had shifted. But why did this single strike cause such a collapse? And what would it mean for Caesar's future? The Gaulish forces broke. Their moment of triumph had turned into disaster. What should have been the complete destruction of Caesar's army became a rout of their own. With the 10th Legion slicing through their ranks, the momentum shattered, and soon, the entire relief army was in retreat. Inside Alesia, Vercingetorix watched as his last hope disappeared. His warriors, already weakened by hunger, could do nothing as the Romans tightened their grip. The siege had been reversed, and the fate of Gaul was sealed. But this battle wasn't just about Gaul. The loyalty of the 10th Legion would become legendary, but it would also make them dangerous. Their unwavering support for Caesar would follow him beyond the battlefield, into the heart of Rome itself. The Republic was already fragile, and the rise of a man with an army that would fight for him against impossible odds was a threat no senator could ignore. Alesia was a victory, but was it also the moment that set Rome on an irreversible path? The battle was won, but its consequences echoed far beyond Alesia. The 10th Legion's unwavering loyalty to Caesar didn't just save him, it changed the fate of Rome itself. But what made this legion so unstoppable? How did their discipline, courage, and devotion turn the tide of history? Click now to uncover the full story of Caesar's most elite warriors and their impossible triumph at Alesia.